Hey friends, we are now on episode 5 of our DIY bathroom build, and it's starting to actually look like a bathroom in this video, I think. The last episode ended with us laying down our floor tile and then just this back wall of shower tile, so Christian is going to finish showering tile. That's not how you do it. Christian's going to finish tiling the shower in this video. Now, we started with the easiest wall, and it definitely felt very easy to throw up all of that tile on the back wall. And when it came to our niche box and all the plumbing to work around for the other two walls of our shower, we definitely ran into some more frustrations. Also, LOL, so far my favorite comment in this entire bathroom build series was somebody saying that I say we a lot when Christian's doing all the work. Do not get me wrong, I'm very aware that Christian's doing 99.99999% of all of this stuff. But what I was saying is that we had a lot more struggles to do the niche box and cut around the plumbing and all of that. I think Christian spent a full day and a half maybe just focused on the niche box. We ended up not planning super great for all the spacing of it, and Christian wanted like our tiles to end perfectly on it, and it's just hard to guess that kind of stuff in measurements. Over on my Instagram under the bathroom build highlight, I actually shared a reel of like a professional tiler showing how you can like line up your tile perfectly. So going forward, we definitely will do that method. But Christian made it work really, really well. He's not super pleased with the final outcome, but I am over the moon. Like, I have zero complaints with how this niche box looks. It definitely was a labor of love and something that I do not envy Christian having put in the hours to make this look good, but I think it looks awesome. Stay tuned. At the end of this video, we're going to end up grouting, that was a funny way to say it. We're going to end up grouting the shower and the floor in this video, so you'll see how this looks like totally finished and complete, and I think it looks like a professional job. It looks really, really good. So stay tuned till the end to see that, and everybody let Christian know that yes, I know he's the one doing all of the work in these videos, and the niche does look awesome. I didn't share it for the first two walls of the shower, but we did do dry lays of all the tile. So basically we pulled out all the tile, measured out how many we would lay out on the actual shower wall, and then played around with the arrangement. There's like 3 general colors in the tile that we bought from Floor & Decor, and there's like a white, a light gray, and a dark gray. And so we just wanted to make sure that we weren't just blindly throwing it up there and had like a full row of just white tile. So it was super beneficial. I'm glad we did it. We almost did not, and I think that would have been a huge mistake. So doing a dry lay of these kinds of tiles with slight color variations made it super simple to throw up on the wall confidently. I also want to mention that I misspoke in my last video. I said that we used 1/16 inch spacers for this shower tile, but we actually used 1/8 spacers. It's definitely a wider grout look, not like anything extreme, but it's definitely a little bit more spaced out and even. Christian said in his research he learned that this was going to make it easier to keep all of our lines straight and looking level and make it look really clean. So for beginner tilers, we wanted to go with something that would definitely be easier to do. Now, my naive self before we had ever tiled anything thought that you could just tile and grout and do it all in one day. Little did I know it would take a lot of effort to do all the cuts for the tile. You need to let the thin set for a full 24 hours before you grout, and then before you can grout, you need to go in with a little angle grinder basically and make sure all of that thin set is not where your grout will be. So Christian and I spent quite a bit of time just taking like razor blades and like his little tool that he found at Home Depot to just grind out all of the thin set between our grout lines so it would be nice and pretty and clean. But that was super time consuming and not fun, and definitely something you don't think about when you're thinking of a project like this. Is like we spent hours, and I mean hours, cleaning out all of the thin set from the grout lines. Now we can finally start to grout, and by we, I mean Christian. We're using the color Warm Gray on the floors by Maepi. I will always link what we're using in these videos in the description bar, so if you're ever curious or like obsessed with a tile or something, you can always look there, or leave a comment or DM me on Instagram. I'm really responsive over there. But Christian's going section by section on the floor tile. You'll also see we have invested in knee pads to make this process less miserable. Basically, you lay the grout down with this cool little like sponge handle thingy. You let the grout sit long enough to set up a little bit, and then take a damp, barely damp sponge and then wipe it all up. Now, while I'm absolutely in love with this floor tile and I don't think I would choose differently, I will say that it's not the most beginner-friendly tile to work with. It's a big learning curve when you're laying tile and how much thinset you need to use, how much grout you need to use, how much time do you have to work with the product, all of that stuff. And having these itty-bitty teeny grout lines everywhere definitely made this product a little bit harder to work with. It looks good in the end, so I'm still thrilled with it, but there's a few imperfections here and there that are really frustrating and annoying to notice. I think Christian and I are going to be the only ones who can notice them, but a few things we learned is, one, maybe pick a larger scale tile for your first tiling job when you're figuring this out. It's definitely a lot easier than a tile like this floor. Also, if you're using a tile like this, do not think that you can just eyeball it. We did not end up using any spacers when we laid this floor tile, and I think that's a big mistake. The spacers made the shower end up looking awesome and super clean and super straight. Like, there's nowhere on the shower where I can spot and be like, oh, this is off center. But on the floor, there's definitely a handful of spots where you can tell it's not evenly spaced out, and it's not terrible, it's not bad at all. I don't think you would notice it walking into the room unless you're looking for it, but it's enough that we notice it, and we know going forward we'll definitely take the time to use a spacer on a tile like this. And now, time to grout the shower. Don't worry about the spots that look like we missed out on. The corners of the shower and also in the niche box are going to be sealed with silicone caulk, not with grout, so that's why you're still seeing the thin set gapping through it. The most time-consuming part of the grout process is actually cleaning the grout off of the tile. Because you just smear it into all of this empty spaces, you have to really clean the tiles really well if you want them as shiny and new as they were out of the box. So in between trying to help our newborn baby go to sleep and Maddie's bedtime and all of that, I was trying to pop in here when I could and help Christian with polishing off all of the tiles to make them look super clean. Just like with laying the floor tile and removing extra thin set, with the grout, it's easiest to clean these tiles when they're still like not fully dried on. So working quickly is the name of the game in this, and having extra sets of hands helps this process go by much faster. With all the grout done, I needed to bring in the vanity so I could decide on a final paint color for this room because we are going to paint this beadboard paneling. Christian was also able to finish putting in the beadboard paneling with a little bit of a hiccup to work around. I'll explain that in a minute, but he was able to kind of dry fit it just so we can get a look for it, and then he's also going to go and protect our floors because I'm going to start painting as soon as these are installed. If you look closely, you'll see that that bottom row of tile is a little bit at an angle. I think the cement board that we installed behind our tile did not stick out as far as our tub did. The tub actually raises up another maybe 2 or 3 inches above the flat surface that you see. I think that's just how they're all built. So you tile over that to mask it, and it just ended up creating an angle. So Christian ended up laying some joint compound and putting some shims where that tile stuck out a little bit more, and then we're gonna kind of mold our beadboard around it. So the beadboard is actually going to stick out at a similar angle. It sounds a little bit ratchet because it is, but it's just a good fix for when you're walking in the room, your eyes aren't drawn straight to that tile being off center or sticking out a little bit. The beadboard doing that also makes it kind of blend and disappear. Now, even though it looks really pretty in the shower and it looks like we're almost done, there's still a bunch of boring things to do, like putting silicone around all of the fixtures to fully waterproof it, putting caulk in all of the seams and everywhere that we did not grout on purpose, and just up against the ceiling, all of the finishing touches. So many of these little detail things are what becomes so time consuming for these projects, but also doing them really carefully and really well is what makes these projects look really professional and less of a DIY job. To finish prepping the shower for all of the fixtures to go in, Christian's going to polish the copper here. He's also going to cut it off, which sadly the camera missed out on. And then we're finally going to install our bath spout and the handle and the faucet. I will have this set linked below. It's the Studio McGee line with Kohler. I am in love with it, obsessed with it. The visual of it is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. You can buy it directly from Kohler, that's where we bought it, but it's at Home Depot now for even less than we paid, so I definitely highly recommend checking out there. This also wouldn't be a bathroom build episode if it wasn't Christian fixing the work of our contractors. When he went to install the faucet to turn on the water, he realized that they had installed this cartridge for hot and cold water backwards. Really frustrating and really annoying, and our contractors' first words to us when Christian called them about this issue were that it's not a big deal and it doesn't matter, and Christian was like, our thing says hot and cold, so yes, it does matter. Christian ended up just Googling how to do it himself rather than waiting on the plumber and all of that stuff, and if you've been following along, you know that we have had quite the time learning that contractors can really stink and make or break your project. So we're getting all of the fixtures put in. I am in love, obsessed. The hot and cold being switched was actually not a big deal to fix at all. It took Christian 5 minutes once he knew what he was doing, but just more annoyance. He's also going to use silicone around all of the edges of these fixtures just to further waterproof it. Waterproofing's very important. And then one of my favorite decisions for this bathroom was choosing the same brand for our bathtub and our shower fixtures. That way the drain on the bath is an exact match for all of these shower spouts and the bath spout and all of that stuff, so it matches perfectly and looks super good. Nothing else in the bathroom was hooked up at this point, but once the shower head was installed, we immediately started using the shower. Here's a little height differential between the new bath and how tall the shower head is versus Christian just having to duck his head like Buddy the Elf in our old bathroom shower, so we immediately started using this. Also found another mistake by our contractor while we were taking our showers in this bathroom, and they did not set our tub. It is very creaky, it is very loud, it's a little bit concerning to use while you're in there because it's just so loud you fear you're gonna like break it almost. And since they were so unhelpful about a simple fix like switching the hot and cold water back on our faucet, Christian did not want to bother them about this issue, just really annoyed that he had to fix it himself, and he learned on the internet that one kind of another ratchet fix for this is to put expanding foam underneath the tub. What you would properly do for a bathtub like this is actually set it in a concrete mud pan, that way it's like really secure and really solid, but because it's too late for that at this point, Christian spent a whole nother day trying to set this up, and initially when we first sprayed it, it takes 8 hours to cure, and we took a shower before that 8 hours was up, and so it still sounded pretty creaky, but then the following morning after it fully cured, that full 8 hours had passed, it sounded like a brand new bathtub, totally solid. So this little fix actually worked. He ended up having to cut like into the drywall in Madeline's room because that's where the bath backs up to. So once again, Christian fixing the work of other people. Oh well. Moving on, we are starting to paint. Since the vanity had been brought in here, I was able to finally hold up all of my paint swatches and decide on a color. I ended up going with the color Blank Canvas by Behr Paint, but I'm also going to start off in this room painting a primer layer first. All of this stuff says that it was primed, but it's never been painted, so just to be safe and because there's going to be moisture in this room, I didn't want to risk any peeling paint or like easier scratching. So definitely a fan of using a primer first in here. If you've watched videos like my living room makeover or our little mini basement makeover, you know that I am no stranger to painting paneling like this. A lot of our house has this paneling just everywhere, and the one saving grace about painting this bathroom was that I did not need to cut in with a brush on every single bead. Somehow they were just shallow enough that a roller was able to fully paint it and fully cover it, so I saved so much time by not having to worry about cutting into all of them. Christian's nemesis on any home project is using caulk, and sadly in the bathroom there's tons of it, so he was caulking the seam between our bathtub and our floors and just not having a great time until he realized he could tape it off and just do it super clean. So he did a bit of a rough go of it on the right side of the bathtub, but for the left side he taped it off, and guys, just wait and see how clean this caulk line looks. We will be able to clean up the right side, so don't worry, it's not like permanent or an issue or whatever, but it's just way easier to get it right the first time. But this little trick worked wonders for Christian as someone who hates working with caulk. We are so close to finishing this bathroom. I can feel how close we are. Hopefully the next video will be finishing everything in here, but I want to do a quick overview as usual to show you where we are leaving things off at this point in the process. Okay, the shower is good to go. We have both showered in this. We just need to hang our new curtain rod in here. It's going to be screwed into the tile. The niche also looks amazing. Christian has a few complaints about that, but overall he's really happy with how all of that's come about. He's also managed to fix the creaking in the tub. It feels super solid to stand in here now. So while we were able to fix that mistake our plumbers made, one thing that's going to be kind of permanent in here is, I don't know if you can tell, but this drain is not perfectly aligned with our spout and the rest of the shower fixtures. Maybe from above you can see it a little bit better, but it is about a ½ inch off to the left, which is very, very frustrating that we paid a lot of money and it's not perfect, but oh well. Floors are also beautiful. They are exactly what I wanted them to be. Walls are painted, sconces are up, and all that's left now is to put the door and the door trim in. We're gonna do baseboards, the vanity and sink, and then our toilet. We also have the accessories like shower curtains, and like we have soap containers and bath towel hooks that are very, very pretty. I'm very excited to put those up. That'll be next week's video when we finish this whole thing up, hopefully, so stay tuned and subscribe if you want to see what the final reveal of this room will be, and give it a like if you have been watching along for this entire series. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys, and we will see you hopefully for the last time in next week's video. Bye!